Can I believe in evolution and still be a Christian?
No! What's evolution?
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
So we're going to dive into this question, but maybe before we do that, just a little disclaimer. Myself and Aden, we're both not like religious fanatics or scientists at all.
Are you not a religious fanatic? I'll die for Jesus.
She crazy. But we're really not religious fanatics per se, but are not scientists at all. And there are debates on YouTube, like hours and hours of debates that you can go watch. But today we're not going to have an hour-long debate.
Nope.
Today we're going to just answer the short question of whether, if you can believe in, obviously... So we're going to answer this question, but before we do that, we want to ask the question, is evolution even real? Like, what is it?
Yeah. And I think to start us off with the conversation, I believe in the 21st century, as, grown people with brains and logic, to deny evolution in its totality would really be dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, you dumb if you deny evolution in its totality. And here's what I mean by that. So in Mother Nature, in plants, and even in people, we're constantly observing this thing of adaptability. Okay, plants in desert spaces adapt to that environment, to needing less and less water.
Cactus.
Like a cactus.
Cacti.
Another example in animals would be the finches of...
The finches.
It's like a fink.
Fishes.
Fish. Fink. A fink in Afrikaans, but I don't think it's fink in English.
I think it's a finch.
I think it's finches.
I think it's finches.
In English, but it's a bird species, and throughout time we've observed, like in them, their beak sizes changing based on the availability of certain food sources. Pretty cool. And even in humans, we're also constantly observing adaptability. So, for example, there's this really cool documentary on Netflix called 14 Peaks.
Oh, I've seen it. I'm too unfit to watch it. That's how big it is.
Go check it out. Really cool. But it's all about this guy climbing, all the highest peaks in the world. But what's really cool is they mention in the documentary the locals that live around Mount Everest that climb that mountain almost on a daily basis. They're called Sherpas.
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 It's when your shirt fits.
Which is my Sherpas, which is really cool. But physiologically, those locals, their lungs have developed better than mine. Okay,
Sure.
Their lungs have a greater capacity to absorb oxygen. I'm out of breath by finishing this sentence. Okay,
True.
but they have physiologically adapted to kind of be better in one certain sense. So to deny evolution would be a little bit primitive, I believe.
Definitely, and I just want to put it this way, like literally my brother-in-law came to visit me from Cape Town.
Yeah.
And we're in Bloemfontein where, the cold lives. And he was here and he literally almost died. He felt like he was going through the worst time of his life.
That's crazy.
Because he's lived in Cape Town his entire life. He's never really moved out.
Yeah.
And so the space
But
is...
it's important to mention that this adaptability that I'm speaking about in the scientific world, that's called microevolution.
That's what this is, yes. So this is
And that's
microevolution.
real. That is definitely true. We're constantly observing microevolutions taking place within species. But I guess the bigger question comes in with faith and religion about macroevolution.
Yeah, and that's where the difference lies, right?
Yes.
So microevolution is within a species, but macroevolution explains that there's species jumping.
Yeah, so one species becomes another species.
Like the whole thing that the fish becomes a lizard and the lizard becomes a bird and the bird becomes a monkey and the monkey becomes us. So it's that kind of little thing.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that it's still a theory.
Yeah.
It's called the theory of evolution.
What?
Not the truth of evolution or the understanding of evolution,
Yeah.
but it's still a theory.
That's
and the
really
reason
important.
it's still a theory is because they haven't found the missing link. They haven't found the link between
Otherwise
us
it
and
would have
monkeys.
been called
or
the
whatever.
found link.
Yeah, the found link.
It's still the missing link.
What has it been called? The link.
Yeah.
So
I like the found
the
link.
found link, but there's no found link.
Yeah.
So the thing about macroevolution, that's the difficult one.
Still
because
unproven.
it is so unproven. But when we think about it, it's like even, we can't take a fish out of the water and throw it in the sky.
Throw it in the sky.
And then it's going to become a bird. Or like take a bird and push it underwater. Don't do that. But, it's not going to become a fish.
Yeah.
Why? Because macroevolution has not been proved. It's not a real thing.
After all these years, hundreds and hundreds of years of people trying, it's still an unproven thing for species to jump from one species to another species. Like, it's still unproven.
And it's like the puzzle thing, right?
Yeah. It's like if you take an illustration about a puzzle. So let's say I'm building a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Those are difficult.
Those are difficult, but let's say I'm building a 1,000-piece puzzle and I don't know where the box is, so I don't have the picture, right? So I have no reference as to what this puzzle looks like because I threw away the box or whatever. And now I'm trying to put together this 1,000-piece puzzle. And after putting together 50 or 60 pieces of this puzzle, I go, boom, I know what it is.
Done.
It's blue, so it's the ocean.
It's gotta be.
It has to be. There's no other explanation, no other way that this could possibly be understood. So stating that evolution is this absolute truth, it's this thing we have to believe in, it's undeniable. When we're talking about macroevolution, it's kind of like looking at a 1,000-piece puzzle, but I've already decided after 50 pieces that this is definitely what this puzzle is. It's not logical.
Meanwhile, it's probably not the ocean. It could be a swimming pool, a glass of water.
A drop.
A drop. So the concept of that is just understanding that this is still only a theory.
Yes.
Because it has not been proven.
And I think it's important just to mention that so oftentimes science and faith are pitted against one another. It's like you either have to be stupid and believe in Jesus, like, I believe in Jesus, and nothing else kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So all that.
You're not stupid if you believe in Jesus.
Yeah, you're not stupid if you believe in
just
Jesus.
putting that out there.
But sometimes they're pitted against one another. Like, you have to be dumb to follow Jesus, or you can be smart and not follow Jesus. But that's not the case.
Not
like, if you looked at how intricate the world is, like from a biblical perspective, thinking how crazy it is, just how everything's put together, science and faith are actually very much compatible. They can actually work together to help us just continue to grow in our amazement of how things are put together. So they don't have to be against one another.
Yeah, they're made to work together, not to work against one another.
Absolutely.
And the best way to illustrate this is cake.
Cake!
I love cake.
Let's do cake.
So the reason we said cake is the best way to illustrate how science and faith can actually work together is cake. Because, cake. Come on.
Let them have cake. We brought cake to the studio today, which is pretty cool.
It's Tumi's birthday soon, so happy birthday.
That's true. Yeah. It's almost your birthday.
Yeah, it's almost your birthday.
Awesome.
That's not why we have this cake.
Yeah,
though.
it's not. Sorry.
Because this is the thing that happens is that science can tell me what this cake is all about.
Absolutely.
It can tell me what it's made out of, how it's made, how
dissect it.
the milk is like whipped to make the cream.
Can science tell me why I'm dressed like this?
Because you look good.
Because you look good, man.
Definitely.
You just look good. It's for the mess.
What?
Science
There's
can
no mess.
explain a lot of that.
So it can explain why this cake or how this cake has been made.
Absolutely.
In the pictures of how it's made,
The
what
milk,
it's made
the
out
eggs,
of,
the sprinkles.
all that type of things. But the one thing that science can't tell me is why this cake was made.
True that.
What's the reason behind this cake
True
being made?
that.
Is it so that I can give it to me for his birthday? Is it so that
Is
me
it
and Aden can
because-
eat it in front of him?
Yeah.
and
Is
he
it
can
because
eat it
I'm
for me?
pregnant and need food?
That is a very good reason. Or is it just because, I just felt like baking a cake for Tumi? But little do you know is that the problem with this is that if you believe that science is going to tell you why, you're missing it. Because that's where faith comes in. And that's why the reason I made this cake is to smash it in Tumi's face.
Wait,
You're
what?
gonna see
You
this
didn't
coming. And so
That's faith right there.
I really wish you spoke about this first, guys.
this is what faith looks like.
Cake smash! That was a lot of fun.
For goodness sake, there was some good cake.
That was awesome. So again, science can explain how.
Yes.
But science can't explain why. That's why faith and science are compatible, because then we get the how and the why. And that makes me love Jesus more, to be honest.
Every single day.
But let's be honest, there are some pros and cons, I guess, to evolution.
Yeah, like I could imagine, just imagine quickly macroevolution was real.
that'd be
I
cool.
would love to grow a pair of wings and just fly around. Like
The
that would
petrol
be,
price, let's be honest, if you could just like fly places,
That would be
or
so
if
good.
you lived by the coast,
Yeah.
if you could develop fins and gills and then swim places.
webbed feet.
webbed feet would be awesome, okay? Or
That would be so
the
amazing.
ability to breathe underwater.
Oh.
Or imagine if you had like the eyesight of like a falcon or an eagle or...
But that sounds like a fun question. We're going to do that a
we're
little bit
gonna
later.
do. But those are some pros,
Some pros,
to
but I think
evolution.
it's good.
But
Yeah.
there are massive cons to believing in macro evolution, because to believe in macro evolution at the end of the day is a very sad thing.
Yeah.
Because that would mean everything is meaningless, everything is pointless. I am just a simple byproduct of my circumstances. And that's sad. That means I have no purpose, no future, no hope other than just being.
Trying to stay alive.
Trying to stay alive,
all it
survival
is.
of the fittest. And that's so sad. I mean, it's believed to be one of the best arguments, if you now have to argue between faith and science, but it's actually believed that one of the best arguments for why faith is just so much better is our ability to observe beauty. Okay,
Yeah.
so our ability to observe
good.
beauty in nature or in movies or when seeing a newborn baby or something like that. But the ability to be moved by something emotionally speaks to the fact that we've been created for more than just living, like expelling, carbon dioxide,
Dioxide.
just breathing in oxygen.
Just being
The
here.
fact that we can wonder and be amazed and feel things actually testifies that we were made.
Yeah, and made with a purpose, right? Because
Definitely.
if we believe in evolution, I mean, that's, like you said, it's a road we don't want
Zero
to go down.
purpose.
Because it talks about, no purpose.
That's
but
sad.
when we look at faith and how God created us, I
Absolutely.
mean, that gives us a new understanding, a new purpose, knowing that God
It gives me
intricately,
hope, yeah.
it gives it, like God looked at me and he said, intricately, Brent, I want to make you as
Yes.
yourself. I want to make Aden as who she is. And so the picture of that gives us hope. That gives us
Absolutely.
faith. That gives us an understanding. And if we can take these two worlds of saying, when you look at science, how these things are put together, that's
Yes.
really cool. But why is the big
Yeah.
answer? And I think the big question. And I think that's the question we ask when we ask about evolution is,
Yes.
why are we here? Because we're trying to find it in the what.
That's the
and
better
not in the
question to
why.
ask, right?
Why are we here?
Because at the end of the day, if you purely believe in evolution and that's it, then your life will kind of surmount to nothing.
Yeah.
You're a byproduct of
Yes.
things. Okay, so would you rather have your life surmount to nothing and it be meaningless in its totality? Or would you rather have been made by someone who loves you,
Sure.
that dreamt about you, that thought about your life, going, I love this person. I'm going to make plans for this person's
yeah.
life. I'm going to give them purpose and hope in the future. I'd sign up for that any day.
I'm down. I'm down. For
I'm
that
down.
one. I'm
The
definitely
worship
down.
team can join us. Like, I want to give my life to,
Yeah,
to
can I give
God.
my life to God right now?
But yeah,
But that's good. That's good news because that's liberating.
That is very
it's
liberating.
Freeing. It's so freeing knowing that.
so
That-
can I believe in evolution and still be a Christian?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because it's two different worlds that we are bringing together. They work together.
Definitely.
3, 2, 1.
Ask me a question and I'll tell you.
Okay.
If you could combine 3 attributes of any animal.
Combine.
Combine.
Combine. Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain. If you could combine any 3 attributes of an animal, what would it look like?
And what would it sound like?
What about the voice of a dolphin with the body of a cat and the wings of an eagle?
The face of a squirrel, the long, graceful neck of a swan, and the feet of a platypus.
So you take the body of a donkey, the face of a donkey, and the sound of a donkey, and you get an ass.
What? So, my animal would be like a hippo body, face of a cow, and a giraffe neck.
So my animal would. So my animal would have the body of a Labrador, the neck of a llama, and the memory of a goldfish. So the body of a Labrador, the neck of a llama, the memory of a goldfish. The body of a Labrador, the neck of a llama, and the memory of a goldfish. Wait, what was I saying again?
Well, I would definitely want the feet of an elephant with the body of a lion and the eyesight of a mole?
So my ideal animal would be the body of a snake, the wings of an eagle, and the face of a hyena.
All right.
Just evolve, man.
I just evolved. Okay. Okay.
Cake smash!